Okay then, Helldivers, we are back. We've got loads to go over today as we've got a brand new major order briefing taking us over to the automaton sector, which is a very nice breakaway from the Terminids. But that's not all we've got. Jojo, the QA lead, took to Discord just yesterday with regards to the latest patch update and gave us an array of statements from things such as the Coyote, which is looking like it may not be touched, and with other balance and performance patches that are due to come in the future. We're going to dive into everything that you guys need to know. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful like button, subscribe with post notifications turned on, it'd be greatly appreciated, and make sure you check out our incredible sponsor, Instant Gaming, the platform where you can get your video games cheaper for PC and console with the best deals, offers, promotions and discounts, running up to 70% off on old and new games alike. The link's down in the description if you want to use that one. And if you want to get involved with that giveaway, it is very, very simple. Head down to the comment section and just put in a red love heart as we finally get some time over on the bots. We'll announce that one for the super credits in just a few days' time. With that being said, let's dive into the game and see what it is that's happening right now in Helldivers 2. So starting off, we got a major order briefing, and it states right here, while one enemy strikes, another one schemes. Decrypted automaton communications reveal secretive mining operations underway on Mintoria. In light of the severe damage done to Outpost Alpha by the Terminids and their gloom spores, technologies utilized in these mines are a high interest to the Ministry of Expansion. Reclaiming and implementing it may help us expand the outpost into nothing less than a spore-proof subterranean haven. The reclamation comes not a day too soon. The tech used on Mintoria was blatantly leaked by traitors embedded among Super Earth's passionate mining contractors, whose brilliant innovations are set to revolutionize subsurface architecture. These innovations include, but are not limited to, geothermally resistive side panels and HIPPO filtration systems, also known as H1PPO. The Helldivers are tasked with clearing the way to the ultramafic mine on Mintoria. The planet must be held while its habitat tech is repatriated. While remodeling is underway, Outpost Alpha must be held. Now this is absolutely huge, because if we take a quick look at the Galactic war map right now, we can see that we've got quite a lot to actually do. Now, yes, we do obviously have to outstandingly hold Hellmire, so making sure that stays protected over the next week is pretty much going to be paramount. But our biggest attacks right now are over here on the automaton sector. At the moment, we have to hold Classer, which is in conjunction with Zephyr, which we also have to liberate, and then Mintoria, which is going to be our final one for the Ultramafic mine. This is going to be a big one, as we've got around 6 days remaining to liberate all 3 planets. At the moment, the Helldivers are doing an incredible job over on Classer with a low resistance of 0.88, and over on the automaton side itself, we can see that we have pretty much just liberated the Sycamore Gardens, which is going to give us a decent jump forward, meaning that essentially another megacity is actually going to be released, and then we can pretty much clear that one off pretty quickly. With a total liberation of around 53 at the minute, this is going to jump significantly, meaning by the end of today, Classer should be pretty much done, and then we've got 5 days to get Zephyr and Mintoria also completed. Overall, a very easy and actually doable one based on these planets here having a low resistance rate. Fingers crossed we actually managed to get that through. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it pans out. But yeah, essentially, go ahead, pick up your weapons and head on over to the automaton sector, as that's where you guys are going to be most needed as of right now, until Hellmire eventually gets attacked again. Moving into the Discord though, Jojo, our QA lead, has had a lot to say with regards to the latest patch update. A lot of people were wondering whether the nerf to the Coyote was going to be coming in and if it was something that they're actually working on. Luckily, Jojo stated that I don't make the design calls, I just let the design team know how I feel things are going. But on the front of the Coyote, it's fine, and we need to look at other ARs. So we may actually be getting what we're wanting, and they may actually be listening to the community at hand, seeing that other ARs may well need a bit of a pick-me-up, and the Coyote may need to be the baseline. Furthermore, though, people were complaining about the patch overall. I do think that it's good that they're starting to work on some things, and they were some of the bigger things that were actually problematic inside of the game, bar the performance outputs. But Jojo states right here, that the patch is to address the worst of the crashes and audio issues that we could lock down and fix. Performance, file size, these things are much bigger. And don't panic, because they genuinely are looking at them. There's a lot to state with regards to this, and the PC crashes are becoming all more prevalent. And Jojo has stated that they are aware and they are trying to fix them. Hopefully, we'll start to see some more patch updates, and it's also likely that they could be issuing some stuff out on a Thursday, as we've seen it happen quite a few times. With the community screaming out for performance and crash fixes, fingers crossed it's something that we actually manage to get done. Now, one of the biggest things that happened inside of the game yesterday was that the Rupture strain were essentially buffed, but not really. They were just kind of like fixed so that they would attack everybody in the same manner, instead of having the host take all the damage and the other clients not dealing as much. Well, Jojo has actually addressed that one, stating that the Rupture strain warriors being hard to dodge is a balance issue, which is being looked into. The host gets attacked while Pia have an easier time was a networking issue that had implications elsewhere and needed to be fixed. Essentially what he's saying is the factor of the Rupture strain being so difficult is being looked at, and hopefully we'll see a balance change in that soon. But the issue with the networking problem, where certain attackers such as the host were receiving damage that the peers were not, essentially was having some problems elsewhere and causing some other issues, so they had to make sure that that was actually fixed. Overall, I think it's a good change. As long as they can balance the Rupture strain quite soon, it would be great. Hopefully before we actually have to deal with them yet again. If you guys are over on Oshune, then you're probably already dealing with them, but there's no reason to be over there. So this major order was pretty much a bit of a ploy to make you go somewhere else while they fix the Ruptures. Moving on from that, though, people have been having issues on Xbox and are wondering when it is that that's going to be fixed. Jojo has stated that it should be improved with this patch, but you can see that Xbox crashes separately, so it is being tracked, which is actually nice to know that the platforms are actually segregated in different manners, meaning that they should be focused into, and certain issues could be patched up by that manner, which is always good to know. But a lot of people were thinking that the Rupture warriors were buffed, and that was obviously because they weren't taking damage as a peer beforehand, and now they are. Jojo has clarified that they did not buff the Rupture warrior, so it is definitely still where it was at, but if you are a peer and you're not hosting, you'll just now see the damage output the way that it was the entire time for the host. Overall, it wasn't a terrible patch, actually. I do think that the things that were in there were actually really relative. The problem is that there were a lot of offsets. So there was a positive that still had a negative on the back end of it. This is the issue that they have at hand, and hopefully it's something that they look into very soon. Moving forward, though, we've got to take a look at your top comments. As you guys had a lot to state in the previous video, we went over the full patch notes and gave you guys a full breakdown at the point of release, courtesy of Arrowhead providing us with that information early. This first one right here states, did I read the patch notes right? They buffed all of what Rupture warriors to have an instant attack that hosts have been dealing with. Edit, yes, they did. Here's a quote from Jojo, and obviously goes through exactly what it is that we've just stated. It states right here that it is unfortunate that the fix means more people are getting hit by the arguably unfair attack, but it was needed fix. We are looking into the Rupture enemies, how they've landed. That is a broader issue. Now, obviously, that is something that people wanted to know about. They haven't essentially buffed them. They've just more so rectified the networking problem. So I'm kind of glad that it's definitely something they've sorted, although now balance needs to be a focus for the Rupture strain, more so than anything else for them. Next up, this one stays right here. I hope they fix the invisible bug body blocking path glitch. Now, this is something I've been a victim to quite enough now. This is something which is a massive problem. And yes, the invisible bug body does seem to be a bit of an issue where you can't actually get through certain paths because you will take out an enemy, it will disappear, but the remains are essentially still there, meaning that you can't get through that pathway. It's a bit of an annoyance, but it is something that they're looking into at the moment. And finally, this one right here from Brian Hopkins, who gave a super thanks of 5 USD. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. But on that message, he stated that it's almost like they didn't listen to what we didn't like about the Rupture bugs. Now, obviously, a massive thank you for the 5 super thanks. I really appreciate that. But it's not that they didn't listen. They just had to focus more so on the networking issues that was giving a bigger problem off the back end. Now they can focus on the balance, and hopefully you'll be happy with the changes when they get that done. Nonetheless, that's unfortunately all we've got time for today. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful like button, subscribe, post notifications, notifications turned on. I appreciate all of your faces, guys. But as always, up until the next time, I'll see you in the clouds.